Next to me is Mesha. She is part of the Idriss Stelley Foundation. She is the mother of Idriss Stelley, who was killed by SFPD in June 2001. She formed the Idriss Stelley Foundation for survivors of police misconduct and grieving families of loved ones killed by law enforcement. Her foundation provides counseling, groups, pro bono attorney referrals, court accompaniment, and assistance with organizing press conferences, rallies, and protests. Next to her is Uncle Bobby. Uncle Bobby is the uncle of Oscar Graham, who was murdered by former transportation officer Jones Manzilli. I can't. On January 1st, 2009, Uncle Bobby dedicates his time to working with the community as the executive director of the Oscar Graham Foundation, founded specifically to bridge for a better communication between police force and the community, to provide educational training and in life skills, support for children, youth, and families in the need throughout California, nationally and internationally. Next, last but not least, we have Danika Chatman. Danika is the mother of Kenneth Harding, who died last year in 2011. Kenneth Harding was killed by SFPD for not having a $2 immunity transfer. Danika has filed a federal wrongful death lawsuit with both her and her son's name, charging the city with failing to provide immediate medical care to her son as he lay dying in the streets. That's right. The fourth guest that we did have planned, his name is Lonnie Amaya. He's not able to be here with us because he is currently sick, so he texted me and let me know that his sister Sheila Amaya was killed over 10 years. She was a Native American Apache/Shawnee woman killed by the Union City Police. So,
on the couch, but she was laying down on the couch. And
he talked very, very fondly about Mesha as well. So he sends his regards that he could not be here tonight. I wanted to start with Mesha. So we have 3 questions, right? And I wanted Mesha, first, if you could talk about what happened, right? What was that process like? The second question we have is, what are the organizing methods that you used and what are the justice methods you used? So basically, how did you gain justice in the situation? If any justice has been gained. So what are campaigns that you won within that? And then what are healing paths that you used to heal from the murders of your family? So those are the 3 questions we have, and I'll keep repeating them. So I don't know if you want to intertwine.
Yeah, maybe we should answer the questions and come back to the question.
So the first question let's do is what happened. So Mesha, if you could go first, and then I'll go on the second.
On June 12, 2005, I'm sorry, I get to stutter because you know how it is. You're right back there. On June 12, 2001, my son was depressed and his girlfriend decided to take him to the movies at the Metro. And they went to see Swordfish. And John Travolta lit a cigarette on the screen in the first few minutes, and my son reached out in his pocket and took out a doobie and he lit it up. And the security guard asked him to put it out. He stood up and said, "You and what army is going to make me put it out?" And then he turned to the audience and said, "Something bad is about to happen. If you have loved ones or people that you care about, need to know, because something bad can happen." My son was a 220-pound black man, muscular, and people scrambled. They see the big black man, right, who look agitated. So they all left. His girlfriend called for help. She called 911 for help to take him to a psychiatric facility because he looked like he was experiencing a mental health crisis. And the dispatcher told the cops he had none. My son didn't have no gun. 9 officers evacuated the whole Metron complex at shotgun. And they entered the theater where my son was now sitting alone, and they shot him 48 times. Wow. They faked doing CPR on him when actually his brain flew all over the theater's seats. because they knew the message, so they were trying to gain time to find out from the mayor and the police chief what they should say. My son, of course, you know, the usual drill was demonizing the press as a thug. The cops, the 9 cops went on a paid vacation for 2 weeks and went back to work at the same spot. One of them has been promoted now. 2 years later, I had filed against the city and I reached a settlement. With the proceeding of the settlement, I opened Idriss Stelley Foundation. I actually gave most of the settlement to the San Francisco Bayview to strengthen black ownership of the neighborhood, and I kept $25,000, with which we opened Idriss Stelley Foundation. So that's the story. I don't want to take any more time. So how about you, Uncle Bob?